Hello, everyone. Welcome back to part 2 of our PineCrest Mall Holiday Horror game of Hopefinder. Hi there, I am Jason Bulmahn. I am the Director of Game Design at Paizo and the publisher at Minotaur Games, a third-party outfit that I run to make things compatible with Pathfinder and all of our games. The first part of this video was filmed as part of Third Party Kon. You can find that up on both my YouTube channel and over at the podcast for the folks at Pod Against the Machine. We are going to kick off part 2 here right now. No need to delay. Let's go ahead and bring the team in, our expert survivors here. Welcome back, gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed your first session of Hopefinder, a modern zombie apocalypse game, hack of Pathfinder Second Edition. Before we get started here today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss it around the horn here and let each one of you introduce yourselves and your character, because now we do know at least a little bit about you. Not too much. You all still are filled with secrets. But we'll explore some of those as we play. But why don't we start off by just doing some brief introductions? Zach, we'll start with you.
Yep, my name is Zach. I am on Pod Against the Machine, where I find paths, occasionally stars, and in this moment, hope, with everybody else on this pod and the delightful narrator. I bring to the table Dardan Polly Jonah, Danny Polly, abrupt and kind of cross Brooklynite who is very happy to be here with all of his friends in the mall.
Fantastic. Sam.
I'm Sam, also from Pod Against the Machine, and I am playing Romero Valentine, who is definitely an adult and definitely has been an adult since the entire time of the apocalypse. And he did get to fulfill every kid's lifelong dream last session and punch the jaw off a zombie. So I'm pretty hyped about that.
To be clear, you're like 20.
Yeah.
When the fall of society happened, you were 10.
he was a child then, and is a little bit still of a kid, because when you lose 10 years of your childhood. But
it's fine. It's fine. I'm sure it's all going to work out great. All right.
Smiles.
Jiro, over to you.
Jiro, also on Pod Against the Machine, and I am playing Martin Halloway. He is a very large and intimidating former wrestler.
That's right. Last session we learned that your wrestling name was what was it again?
Gravedigger.
Gravedigger. That's right. And
yes.
And in a flashback we were taken back to one of his final matches before the fall of society, where he told everyone about how he learned to roll with punches, which has expressed itself in an interesting and fun ability. That is fantastic. All right, Jeff, wrap it up with you.
Yeah, I'm Jeff. Also, we could edit that out. No, don't worry about it. That's a running joke in our podcast. We don't edit things out. I'm Jeff from Pod Against the Machine, and am playing Chris Bridges. He is a real lanky guy. 32 years old, an optimist, and we don't really know much more about him.
Sure. So, now that we've got all of our introductions out of the way, when we last left our intrepid band of survivors, 4 survivors living in the Free Ballard commune in on the north side of Seattle, were enjoying a festive holiday peppermint drink at the smoke stop, one of the few remaining watering holes in the settlement, enjoying the libations that Carrie was pouring up for you, when Big Swede came in, and Big Swede came in to ask you to go on a run. This is a common thing that happens to folks in the community when things need done outside the safety of its walls. It's kind of a lottery system, or, just kind of when it's your turn. You get sent out to go on various quests. If you're able-bodied and capable of going out, you get sent out. Everybody shares in the risk. In this case, he really wanted you to make your way north to the PineCrest Mall, a large shopping complex that stayed in operation for quite a bit during the fall, even getting so far as to putting up their holiday decorations and getting ready for Christmas. You have been sent to go and venture up to the PineCrest Mall for one goal, one primary goal, and that is to raid the mall's toy stores, to go and bring back as many toys as you could for the children of the community. They've been passing around the same communal comic books and dolls for years now, and Big Swede would like you to make your way up there and see what there was. Find and bring back whatever you could. You all agreed, because really, you don't have another choice. And you all set out the next morning to make your way to the PineCrest Mall. Leaving the community behind, you headed east, cutting your way north kind of a bit, up to 65th to save yourself a little bit of time. You then cut your way over to the freeway past the old zoo before arriving at the I-5 freeway. Then you turned north, making your way up along the freeway to arrive at the Mall. You had to scamper down some debris and stuff, and took a few scrapes and bumps as you did, crawling over a collapsed monorail station, or light rail station. But eventually you found yourself at the entrance mall. You circled around it and noticed that there were 3 possible entrances. One leading into what you later learned was the kind of administrative area, one leading into kind of the south side of the mall, and the north entrance, which leads into a department store called Home and Castle. After a bit of debate and discussion, Gravedigger made up his mind and made his way up toward the Home and Castle to enter through this smashed-in north entrance. You wandered inside and took a look around, and that is where you found a map. And why don't we go and we'll just bring up the map here briefly so that everybody can get reminded what it looks like. So you entered through Home and Castle there. That's the north side of the mall. You were able to get a good look at this mall map, but unfortunately, the key to it was smashed and broken on the floor below, so you kind of have no idea where any of the stores are. So that's where you entered, and instead of just cutting straight through Home and Castle, you first decided to go take a look around. And you explored the place, but before you did so, Martin recounted a tale from his earlier days. He did the first flashback that we've seen here. And every time you play Hopefinder, you have some flashbacks that happen. And flashbacks are a way for the players to grab control of the narrative and tell a story, a bit of backstory about their characters. It's a part where they get to tell narratives, and I mostly take a backseat and interact with them. Whether or not these narratives are true, that's not important. This is the story they tell themselves and others about. So in this, we learned that Martin Halloway was actually a wrestler known as Gravedigger, and he learned how to roll with punches. And this is one way you gain advancement in Hopefinder. Every time you do a flashback, and you get 1 each level, you also gain a flashback feat that is themed to whatever your flashback was. So Martin gained his feat. We still have plenty of flashbacks to do here today, so we're going to see how those play out. I'm excited. But after that, the party continued onward and explored into the Home and Castle, finding a locked case with a chainsaw inside, an electric chainsaw. And the party immediately was like, we're stealing that. So they broke out a crowbar and went up to go crack open the case. But before they could do so, their talking and chatting had called forth a handful of zombies. 2 shamblers and 1 crawler came making their way at you. The 2 shamblers came from the front, while the crawler sneakily kind of came up one of the side aisles. And although the fight was fierce, no one got bit, which is important. But people did take a couple hits. Most of the zombies, before they bite you, they got to hit you, then they got to grapple you, then they can go in for the bite. We didn't see any of that happen. And oftentimes they don't even get to infect you unless they get a critical hit. So, it's not every day that you get infected, but you definitely want to watch out and make sure that you don't risk catching the Z plague. But you did put down the zombies pretty quickly. You used up some of your precious bullets. Make sure to keep track of those. You don't got too many. But you did use up some of your precious bullets. You took some dings, you took a bruise or 2, but you did manage to fight off the zombie. And hey, you even earned a hope from your wisecracking friends. So things went pretty well for your first fight. And then you managed to break open the cabinet. You found flashlights and more bullets, and you managed to get your hands on the chainsaw. Now, I do want to stress, this chainsaw requires a large battery to function. They either require gasoline. This isn't a gasoline chainsaw. This is a electric chainsaw. But it does require a fuel cell, a battery, and you do have one of those. There was one in the case, but it's really old, and you have no idea how long it will actually work, or if it'll even work at all. So, if someone decides to operate the chainsaw, we'll deal with that when we get to it. But for now, you've got that. It's stowed away, and I'm not sure who's carrying it because it is actually kind of heavy. Somebody should figure that out. But that's what you got. And from there, you made your way to the front of Home and Castle, looking out into the mall. Now, you saw a number of shops in the mall. Off to your right, you saw a place called My Precious. Looks like a jewelry store. Beyond that, you saw a place called End Goal Sports. Off to your left, you saw a place called Spikes, which looks like a gag gift kind of place and like edgy t-shirt shop. And then beyond that, you saw a place called Candle Hell, which looks like a place that sells candles and perfumes. So named because that's the one store in every mall that I avoid like the plague. Just can't go in those places. They drive me nuts. So there's Candle Hell off to the left up ahead. This is a 2-story mall. There are openings between the first floor and the second floor. There's like walkways up above and you can look down. Beyond that, there are some skylights that are broken open. There's puddles of water. There's moss and plants and stuff growing on the floor of the mall because of all the rainwater that's soaked in here through the 10 years. And as you looked out into this darkened, decrepit mall, you heard some creepy, edgy, and I believe that's where we left off. So that is exactly where we'll pick up. So the four of you are standing at the entrance to the Home and Castle. That's where your group is. We'll mark you with that little token there. So you are at the entrance to the Home and Castle. So we'll keep that marked on the map as you move around. That's where we're going to pick up. So, what do you do?
Well, I think at hearing that wonderful, happy noise, Romero is just going to casually flip off the flashlight since it's light out here and tuck that away and take his rifle out just for no reason. No real.
Yeah.
I'm not coming up with any reason at all as to why you would want a handgun out in the zombie-infested shopping mall.
Weird.
Or a rifle, as the case may be. All right.
I think Chris would look to Danny and say, maybe we should split up these extra bullets that we found, considering we're both fair enough pistols. He reloaded the 3 bullets that he had shot into his revolver. And then if Danny wants them, he'll, shake out 5 to you and 5 to him.
Thank you very much. I will also take this moment to reload.
Sure.
And
yeah.
While he's doing it, he looks over at Spikes and is like, do you think any of the kids want like a blacklight reactive fuzzy pillow or like a novelty tobacco water pipe?
Maybe they have
tobacco water pipe. Yeah, indeed.
Maybe they have those things that made of pins that you can like put your hand in and it leaves the hand shape. It was always a good time.
There might be some toys in Spikes. That is true, actually. There may be some gifts in there, but there's probably a whole bunch of things that are probably not gifts. So these are, I do want to say that the shops in here, it's a mall. So generally speaking, they have those kind of roll top metal doors. It does look like most of them are open though. It looks like whatever happened here, they were open. So looking around, you can clearly tell that Spikes, their roll top is up. Over at My Precious, one of the roll tops is down, but it has 2 entrances, one on each kind of side because it's in the corner. That is area 2 or 20, by the way, is My Precious. So that one of the roll tops is closed, the other one's open. So that's kind of what you see from this vantage. Most of the other ones look open. At least from where you're at right now. You probably have to get closer. So you divvy up the bullets. That's fine. Those are pistol bullets. Hopefinder doesn't get too specific about calibers or anything like that. It's just we don't need that level of specificity. Pistol bullets are pistol bullets. Fine. I know they don't work like that in real life, but it'll do for here. So you split up the pistol bullets between your two guns, and that'll work out just fine. So where do you go?
Well, do you want to check out Spikes and
Yeah, might as
see
well.
if we can
There's
grab some of those Floofine blind boxes?
yeah, they do a lot of posters and such too there. That could be something worth bringing back.
The kids are really going to be excited about pop stars that died 10 years ago.
It's all collectibles now.
Yeah.
I mean,
they
they-
making
Wakanda
more.
forever.
Yeah, they might have. Yeah, they could have some old Marvel posters that the kids will really wish that there was still a copy of those movies that they could watch.
They're gonna love this shirt that says "piss" in the Kiss font.
Yeah,
They're just
no,
gonna-
it's gonna be great. Yeah, they're really gonna want that. Merry Christmas, everyone. All right. So you venture forth, kind of leaving behind the home and castle here. And I'm gonna use your token here to kind of move around. This area right here, not that you're actually there. That area right there, this kind of darker green square, that is a kind of recessed play area. So there's kind of benches all around it, and then in the kind of recessed, like 2 steps down area, there is kind of like a large plastic slide and a bit of a kid's jungle gym. You don't see anything here except for some ominous looking stains that clearly were blood some time ago. There is also this orange kind of rectangle on the north side of that map there. That is the escalator that goes up. So that goes up to the second floor. That's how you get between the floors, are those orange rectangles. There's 3 of them. And they're lined up between the 2 floors, if that helps you kind of understand how things kind of fit together. So you make your way up and over to Spikes. The roll top here, as I said, is up. There are, the old, like, security, electronic security standy things that if you walk through with something with a tag on it, they would beep. The power hasn't been working in this place in a decade, so you're not exactly worried about them making a bunch of noise. Looking around inside, though, it is very dark in here. The inside of this store in particular, because it doesn't have very many openings, it's just got the one door. The inside of this shop is very dark, and the back of it is just pitch black, so you have no idea what's in there. There are no windows, there's no openings. That's what you see. Now, what's up in front are racks with old t-shirts. So you clearly see a whole bunch of old t-shirts. So if anybody wants clothing, ordinary clothing, you can certainly grab a bunch of t-shirts here. They come in a various bunch of sizes, and if you want to grab some, you certainly can. Most of them are, either have slogans that no longer make sense, like, or are for like the local sports teams. They all have 12s on them and stuff. A bunch of tie-dye stuff like that. There is a counter off to your right. You can still make that out. The registers are there and open, and you can see old money that is completely worthless now. No one uses money. Everything's about barter now. So the cash is kind of worthless. But also piled up there's a bunch of blind box toys. If you wanted to grab a bunch of like little blind box figurines for various cartoon properties and a bunch of those sorts of front that you can see. So what do you do?
I think I would go, being a very adult human being whose childhood was a very, very long time ago, Romero is definitely going to gravitate towards some blind boxes from various popular culture properties and just grab big pile of blind boxes to shove in his backpack.
Yeah, a lot of them are like anime blind boxes, so they're various, anime character blind kind of sorts of things. But there's some from like Nintendo stuff, and so you can grab a bunch of those. They'll take up one inventory slot in your backpack, but go ahead and grab yourself some blind box toys. That's fine. What about the rest of you?
Chris has a flashlight and a one-handed firearm, unlike Romero with the rifle. So think now that we have those cool new batteries from the cabinet, Chris would flip on his flashlight and try and see if there's anything else of value back there or potential threats deeper into the store.
Okay. So you turn on your flashlight and just kind of scan the back of the store, taking a look around. Give me a perception check.
That is an 18 total.
So, you're kind of looking around back there. No. Scan it back and forth once. And on your second pass by, something back there moved. Back in the dark recesses of this place, something is, and it's moving very quietly.
We've got a live one, or probably a dead one, but you know what I mean. It's something trying to sneak up on us.
So you're not sure if it's getting closer or not, but it's definitely kind of moving about back there, trying to remain. It definitely intentionally moved away from where.
Well, Martin, you want to go smash it with a hammer?
I mean, or we could just let it go. It sounds like it's pretty far away. It might be a good idea not to try to get into too many fights in here if we can help it.
Danny, who has finished wrestling his 2XL beer, the problem and the solution and cause of all of life's problems novelty t-shirt over his workwear. Says, yeah, I think we got everything we need in here.
So you kind of flipped through the rack and found a novelty beer t-shirt. Yeah, no, that sounds like the sort of thing they have here. Yeah. So yeah, you grab that. I mean, there's undoubtedly some more interesting stuff deeper in this place. All of the kind of cheap stuff is up near the front. But going in there will require dealing with whatever is lurking in the back part of this store. So kind of up to you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that is what Martin would say. Like, he's trying to think of this as like, we're going to try to hit a few more places. We've already been told by Big Swede that if we find something interesting, maybe they can send another group back later. And whatever's in there, it could be something interesting, or it could just be more junk. And let's not get eaten by zombies trying to decide which of the two it is. So he would very much caution Chris against kind of going further in there when we still have kind of our main goal to find an actual toy store if we can.
All right.
What do you think, Junior? He looks over at Romero.
Yeah, if it's not coming after us yet, back out of here, maybe pull down the gate thing, and then we got a zombie in a box.
That's not the sort of Christmas gift the kids back in the settlement want. What's in this box? Oh no, not that. Congrats, kids! We went to the pet store.
Pet store of the living dead.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. You'll never have to feed this bunny. Don't get near it. All right. So it sounds like you're backing out. You're not going to go in there and risk kind of fighting anything in the dark recesses of Spike's So let's go ahead and move you on the map here. So you are kind of up here right now. So you're right next to Candle Hell. You're not too far away from the escalator that goes up. Directly across from you, you do see store 18 and 19 now. 18 looks like a store called Holiday Cheer. It looks like a pop-up kind of Christmas store. And 19 is a store called End Goal Sports, which looks like it's filled with like shoes and sporting equipment and sporting gear. You can't really see much beyond that to get to a good view at 17. And 12 and stuff further down, those you can't really see because of all the Christmas Village crap in the middle. So yeah, you really can't make out much of anything else from your vantage point. What do you do? Where do you go next? The mall itself is very quiet. You do hear the occasional kind of flapping of bird or something flying by outside. There is a sound of breeze and wind because, as I said, the skylights are kind of broken open. There's an ever-present kind of dripping sound. It did rain last night, so the mall inside here is pretty wet, especially down on this bottom floor. There are large puddles kind of all over the place. And lots of kind of dripping and echoing kind of dripping sound. The smell of mold and mildew and rot kind of hang pretty heavily in the air in this mall. A far cry away from the cinnamon bun sellers and the place selling, you know, fancy orange smoothies that you probably be.
I would say, I mean, maybe while they're outside of Spike's, Danny's eyes kind of trace over to the storefront next door, Candle Hell, and maybe you smell it a little bit first. And
even to this day, that place still stinks.
Yep.
It's been 10 years, and even now,
that and the Abercrombie are just so. I'm sorry, the Anthonocrombie. I don't know.
I think it's Aberzombie and Zilch.
So like kind of looking over, and you're hearing, like you described, like the sound of the pitter patter of rain filtering through both the broken bits of roof and a little bit of the foliage inside of there. And he kind of absentmindedly sticks his hand inside of his pocket, and in his hand is kind of this candle that looks like a ball of yarn. And as he's holding it, and it's like this kind of like flat birthday candle, kind of like that looks like a ball of yarn. And as he's holding it, the kind of the patter of rain kind of gets louder in the background. And he turns around and he's like, "Did I ever tell you guys what brought me out to Ballard in the first place?" And you know, the kind of scene sets back and the rain comes forward, and the rain is coming down a lot heavier, like it does on the coast that both Zach the player and Zach Danny Polly are from. And you are seeing kind of this outside of this crumbling brickstone tenement in Brooklyn. And you're seeing this soaked kind of figure. The slouched shoulders really show that it is, in fact, Danny Polly walking up these stairs. And the water is dripping off him. He's walking up these kind of creaking stairs, heading up the second floor.
And there are other people around, right? Because this is before.
This is before, yep. Yeah. So you can hear people inside of some of the houses, maybe some laughter, maybe a weird smell of something that someone's cooking. And he gets to a floor, and he's starting to bring out his keys and round the kind of way to head up to the next floor. And he stops, and he looks at the door to his left. And he thinks about kind of knocking for a moment, and then he shrugs and walks up to the door and starts knocking on the door. Alice, you in there?
The door opens, and a kindly, is she middle-aged at this point? She's a little older, right?
Yeah, she's a little older. She was like maybe only like upper 50s, 60s at this point. So
older woman opens up the door, and she's like, "Oh, Danny, so good to see you. I was waiting for you to come home."
Alice, it's so late, but look, Well,
you know I worry about you. And she kind of reaches forward to pinch your cheek.
he proffers a cheek.
Yeah.
Let's go inside. I'm sorry. I'm still a little soaked here.
You look like you look like a drenched rat. Come in. I'll get you a towel. And she kind of goes in and fetches you a towel. And you notice that there's the kind of delicious smell of something that has been baked. Some she's been baking again. She does that. And she returns to you with an embroidered towel that's a little threadbare, but one that she clearly embroidered herself and hands it to you. There, you look drenched too. You look like you've had a terrible day. Look at you. Oh, you're just soaked.
Oh, well, thank you. And he trips a little bit over a white, fluffy Persian cat that's under him. Oh, with a spoon. Ah, man. The rain and... yeah, can I sit down? Can we sit down?
Please sit. No, sit. I've got something for you. And she first goes and pets the cat and opens up a tin of cat food and who goes to munch it. She then goes into the kitchen. She says, "Well, you've had a terrible day, and I was hoping this would be more of a celebration, but I made you something."
What do you mean you made me something? You didn't have to make me nothing.
You thought I forgot? And she kind of comes back around, and she has made you a birthday cake.
And on top of that cake is a novelty candle that has a cat, a yarn kind of ball, and it says, "Have a ball on your birthday, Danny." And there.
She brings that over to you, and that's scene.
Tear just runs down my side of my face. But yeah, so that's Alice Reeves, Danny's downstairs neighbor from New York that he brought all the way over, and she baked him a birthday cake. One awful night, he sits down, looks at that cake, and his entire terrible day melts away. He puts a small bottle of pills on the table. Alice, I don't know how many more of these I'm gonna get, but this is what I could do. And he looks at the cake, and it just kind of fades back into the flickering light of the flashlight.
So you all know that Alice Reeves is a member of the community. You've met her. In fact, you've met Witherspoons, the cat, as well, that came out with Polly some years ago. So that was Polly's flashback. We get a flashback to his days of living in New York City right before the fall. Now, Polly, Danny is going to unlock his flashback feat. Which one did you get?
I got Rouse. So
Rouse.
Yeah, my role is a first responder, and I took a healing feat, and Rouse allows me to use 2 actions to bring somebody back from unconsciousness or dying with a successful check, and it restores them to 1 hit point.
Yeah. All right. So we kind of fade back in from scene. We're still back in the mall. We're still standing right next to Candle Hell. Where does the party want to go from here?
We want to check out that little holiday pop-up store. Maybe find some gifts.
You could, yeah. All right. So you are. Is that where you're going? Is that everybody agreed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So you're going to go ahead and kind of cross over here and make your way into store 18. So this shop, you make your way over to it, and this is another shop where the roll top gate is up. And inside, this is the kind of place that did like courtesy holiday wrapping. That was like one of the things it did. And then the rest of the store is filled with like temporary holiday gift boxes. So up in front, there's a big pile of what looked like it was like sausage and cheese gift packs that have been sitting for 10 years. Frankly, a few of them look like they're okay. There's a couple of them that definitely aren't. But there are a few of them that maybe would count as spoiled food. Now, if you're aware of this little facet of Hopefinder, there is fresh food, which is safe to eat, and then there's spoiled food, which is dangerous to eat. And there is a new aspect of the survival skill, which allows you to cook spoiled food to the point where it's at least mostly edible and make it safe. But that's something you can't exactly do in the middle of a thing. I'm going to wager that you're not going to want to break out and build a campfire in the middle of the mall. But, we'll see. So that's the sort of stuff up front. It looks like towards the back of this, and again, this is another really long, really dark store. So the back end of it, it's really dark. But it does look like scattered through the middle of it, there are assorted kind of gifts. Now, some of it is stuff like giant wooden novelty nutcrackers. But it's also clear that they have like a pile of teddy bears and stuff like that look like they might still be in good shape, that are not too deep in. They're about halfway through. There might be more stuff in the back, but you can't really see.
I think Martin will start tossing some teddy bears into his pack. He'll look for like ones that aren't all identical and ones that haven't been like gotten moldy or anything from sitting in here for too long.
Sure.
And toss some of those in.
All right, so Martin's going to kind of proceed into the store to get stuff. Is everybody going with, or some of you staying kind of closer to the entrance?
Danny will draw his, or I guess he still has his gun out. He's going to hang out by the door. He's going to watch.
All right.
Chris will go in
and
with
Martin
the
is
flashlight.
only going as far in as where that pile of bears is. He's not going further into the darker area.
All right, so Chris is joining you with a flashlight. What's Romero doing?
I think Romero's going to go part of the way in, like with the rifle up and sort of, slowly sweeping the store. He doesn't have the light out again, but he's sort of still trying to cover Martin.
Okay. All right. So, you begin making your way into this store. And Danny's kind of covering the door. The rest of you are kind of advancing. We got Chris with the flashlight. We've got Martin going to grab bears and stuff them in the pack. And we've got Romero kind of doing Overwatch, as it were, just kind of zooming around with the rifle, just in case anything. So as you kind of make your way up there, as you get close, you notice that further back, there are toy train sets. Kind of deeper in the mall, or in this shop. These aren't super fancy ones. They're kind of cheapo, toy train sets. And also they require batteries to work. So not exactly the best toy for the apocalypse, but not nothing, right? They do have some kind of novelty toy sets further back. So there are those. And you're making your way up kind of this display of bears.
Looking around with the flash.
Yeah,
that's
fine. I'm just going to roll a check. Nothing you have to worry about. I'm just going to roll a die.
And it's okay. I also rolled a die to perception.
Okay.
It was a dirty 20.
So you almost missed it before it leaped at you. One of the poor, damned employees of this shop, and you can tell it was one of the employees of this shop because it's still wearing like a bright green holiday vest with a name tag that says, "Hello, my name is Vikki. I am a happy Santa elf." And you only catch a glimpse of that as this zombie leaps through the air at you. It literally jumps from behind the bear pile, jumping kind of through the bear pile. Bears go flying everywhere as this one leaper comes flying out at you. At that, I'm going to need everyone to roll perception for initiative. I think that's going to apply to everybody. Yeah, nobody was doing anything all that special. So let's just get everyone to roll perception for initiative. And I'll go around the horn and get that from folks. Let's see. What does Danny have?
Danny has an attentive 11 with a 6
boy.
off the die.
That's not great. Romero, what do you got?
As any good guy trying to cover his allies, is a nice low 9.
I like how the first fight, everyone beat the zombie. I'm going to be real interested to see if anybody beats the zombie this time. What does Martin have?
Martin got a wolf head on his die, which is the 20 for a 23.
Oh, well, all right. There we go. Someone's going to beat it. What's Chris got?
That depends on whether the dirty 20 he rolled right before the leaper came out counts as his initiative or not.
You know what? I'll give it to you. It's the holidays. I'll be generous just this one time. I'll give you the 20. Okay.
I feel like that's a bad sign.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Thank you.
It's going to be great. I can't imagine anything that would go wrong here. All right, so Martin, you're going to get to go first. And where we're at is this thing looks like it's coiled up and about to leap through the air and strike. Actually, you know what? I said it drove through the bears. So it jumped through the bears, kind of landed in front of you. It's not in melee range yet, but it's very, very nearby.
I think he wants to get that close to that. I may just spend 2 of my actions to ready to swing at it if it jumps at us. I think is what Martin's going to do.
All right, so you're readying a reaction to take an attack if it comes within reach. Okay?
Yes.
That will certainly work. Okay, so that is what Martin is doing. Gotcha. Which actually works because you probably have to spend an action to draw the sledgehammer because you were about to grab bears.
Yeah.
So, okay, that was Martin's turn. Next up, we've got Chris, who's up there with the flashlight and probably was the first person to spot this thing.
Yeah.
Unlike the other ones, this thing does not look slow. It looks fast.
Okay. That's probably fine. Reaction from the holster. Draw that revolver. We'll use that first action to aim. And we'll just crit it again.
All right. So you take a free action to draw, then you take your first action to aim, second action to shoot. In Hopefinder, for those who don't remember, you can spend an action to aim with a ranged weapon, giving yourself a plus hit.
Not a crit. I don't know. This one seems faster. It does a 13 hit.
So in a panic, as this thing leaps through the air, you fire and miss it entirely, but you obliterate one of the bears that's going through the air.
Oh, I ruined Christmas.
Just stuffing goes flying everywhere and kind of is gently floating down. These bears look like they're filled with like wadded up newspaper. They don't look like high quality bears, but you know, they're bears.
Don't be sad, Jeff. It sounds like you got very close.
Oh,
We're taking a hope away.
We
for that
doing
one.
that?
Sorry,
yeah,
guys.
no. How much hope do I take away from you for that? Plenty.
Oh no.
All right. So Chris, that was 2 of your actions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll spend another precious bullet and try and shoot again. No aiming this time. And that's a 15.
15 is not going to do it. This thing is very nimble, and when you fire at it, it kind of flinches and jumps out of the way. It doesn't look like this thing walks around so much as it kind of leaps around like a frog. You're not sure what's up with that, but it is moving quickly. And the dangerous thing is that it goes next.
But
So-
Vikki, the customer's always right.
In this case, the customer is always delicious. So it is going to leap again to get up next to... Oh, let's see. I have 3 of you up there. Actually, it's going to leap up next to Chris, but I am going to say that that's within Martin's reach because the 3 of you were approaching together. It's leaping at Chris because Chris has the flashlight. So it's going to go ahead and leap towards Chris. Martin, if you'd like to take your reaction, you may now do so.
Okay. And so that is only a 12, which I don't know if that's going to hit that.
A 12 is not going to do it. You swing kind of wildly at this thing, and it just the sledgehammer just passes right by it. You just kind of miss. It's too fast. It lands on the ground in front of Chris and then attempts to bite him. It just goes straight for the bite. This thing doesn't bother trying to grab you. It just tries to bite you.
Dodging.
All right, so you're dodging. That's good. But I got a 23 to hit.
Okay, that definitely still hits, but does not crit.
But does not crit. Okay, important to know. So you get bit. The zombie tries to bite you. Here we go. 6 points of damage.
Ooh. So that bypasses, that exceeds my 5 resistance. So then...
So you will take 1 point of damage, and your armor will take a ding.
Interesting. Because it was a bite?
Yeah, well, because the damage exceeded the armor's resistance. Whenever damage gets through the armor takes a ding.
Yep, you take a ding.
Yep.
When the damage doesn't get through the armor, you take a bruise instead, but you take no damage. So
okay.
Whenever you get hit, something happens. You take a damage and your armor takes a ding, or you just take a bruise. One or the other.
So I got bit. Does that mean I need to roll a fortitude save?
It does not, because this zombie is not as virulent as some of the other ones. It only gives a chance of contagion on a critical hit. So you're lucky on that. Some of the more powerful ones will do it every time they bite you, but this one isn't quite as virulent. So, no saving throw right now. So that was its second action. For its third action, it's going to just try and bite you again.
Fair.
No, that's not going to do it. I'm going to wager that an 11 is.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So, quick question. A 23 was not a critical hit. Would a 25 be a critical hit?
It would not.
Okay.
Even without the dodge, AC 17.
Oh, good. Good. Because I forgot after a leap, I get an extra bonus back roll. Okay. But that also applies to damage. I forgot. Take 2 more points of damage. That's on me. Sorry about that. It has a spring and attack. After it springs, it gets a +2 bonus on attack and damage. So
I'd say 3. Hands off the chess piece, but you're the game writer, so yes, sir. I've taken 3.
Yeah. So instead, you take 3 mighty points of damage. Now that's not great because characters in Hopefinder don't have a ton of hit points. So 3 is a pretty serious wound. All right, that is the end of its turn. Next up, we've got Danny.
All right. So Danny is at the door, but probably hears what's going on. So Danny is he's gonna run over, kind of. He has his gun out already. So 1 action to move, 1 action to aim, and 1 action to shoot. While he's saying we've seen Mauler and Crawler and Creeper and Leaper, and just aims and sends one out. And let's see what we got here.
Santa's 8 zombies.
Okay, that's not terrible. That is an 11 off the die for a 16. Oh, but +2. So +1. Sorry. So it's going to be 17 in total with the aim.
So a 17, you almost hit it. This thing is like the previous zombies were real easy to hit, very slow moving. This thing is very agile and kind of dodging back and forth. So you fire at it, but it twitches and the bullet misses. It Just barely misses. That is the end of Paulie's turn. Romero, we are down to you.
All right. Well,
What's
Romero,
the kid got?
The kid's got his rifle out. So he's going to take a second to aim and try to square Vikki up. And yeah, let's see what happens. That one.
Oh,
Nat 1. So you fire the gun. That does not go as planned. That bullet must have been old, or the gun hasn't been cleaned properly. Your gun takes a ding.
Oof. All right.
I don't know where you're at on dings on that, but if you ever reach half, let me know. Versus its break value.
All right. That's the first ding on the gun since I had that natural 20 on my dings.
Oh, that's
earlier on.
right. That's right. You didn't have any. You didn't start with any drawbacks. So that's not
my
too bad.
last good roll of the adventure.
All right.
And it's not like any jam that has to be cleared or anything, right?
No, I don't bother with jams in this. It's just a ding. So your hunting rifle can take 4 dings. It has a break value of 4, which means at 2 dings it starts taking penalties, and at 4 dings it's broken. It's just destroyed. You basically scrap it for parts at that point. You can repair items between fights. You can spend some time if you have the parts. Generally speaking, you get the parts by taking apart other items of a similar type. So if you've got an extra gun that's all beat up, you can take it apart for parts and then use those parts to fix your other guns. It's an abstract system, but it's here to kind of simulate kind of making do with what nonsense items are left in the apocalypse, like hitting things with a giant nutcracker or something. All right. So that was your second action. You do still have a third.
Yeah,
oh, no, you aimed.
He's
Did you
going to
aim?
try to shoot again. Hope for a actual good roll.
All right.
No, that is a total of an 11.
You take aim and fire again, and that again is going to come up short. Make sure to keep an eye on your total number of bullets. You fire again, and that is going to miss. All right. That was Romero's turn. Top of the order, we are back to Martin. Something that never has bullets is a sledgehammer. Martin, what are you doing?
Well, funny thing about that, he actually, seeing the way this thing is moving around and how hard it was for him to hit, he's actually going to drop the sledgehammer.
All right.
And he is then going to, he sticks his left hand into the pocket of his motorcycle jacket. And I'm assuming dropping is still a free action, correct?
Still free, yep.
Yeah. So he takes one action, then puts his hand in his pocket, pulls it out with a knuckle duster on it.
All right.
Second action, he is going to attempt to hit this thing with something with a bit of a higher.
Sure. Going for more accuracy.
So he is going to go
folks,
and attempt to punch this thing.
Folks, don't forget that you can use your hero points to reroll rolls. So,
yep.
Just as a reminder, that is one of the things you can use them for. You can also use them to turn crits against you into normal hits. And if you're dying, you can use hope. You call them hero points. You can use hope to prevent yourself from needing to make a dying check for 1 round. Should that happen?
So that's going to be with the attack bonus. That is going to be a 21.
A 21 does hit. That is a solid hit. You do manage to clip. What did I call this zombie? Vikki?
Yep.
Vikki?
Yeah, Vikki.
Vikki? All right.
Yeah, tricky Vikki.
You managed to clip sales elf Vikki, the springy zombie, and go ahead and deal me some damage.
Okay, so that is a 3 on my D4. So that is going to be 5 points of damage.
All right. You deal 5 points of damage to this zombie. That hurt it, but it's not by any means dead. You do still have 1 action left.
Yep, so he's going to swing at her again with his -5. That's not great. That is a 5 on the die, so that means that I'm basically only getting my... So that is a 4. I don't know if that is a critical miss.
It is a critical miss, which means your brass knuckles are going to take ding. As you miss the creature, you overswing and hit a rack nearby. and your brass knuckles will.
Yeah.
Okay. That is the end of Martin Alloway's turn. Next up, Chris.
Yeah, let's see if Vikki has attacks of opportunity, because I think Chris is going to put a little distance between him and her.
All right.
Do a stride back 10 feet.
Okay.
Doesn't look like she tries to bite him. Stoked.
So you go from being close to near. In terms of range. Yeah.
That, just so she can't bite me 3 times. That seems like a terrible idea for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And
I
then
can understand why you wouldn't want that.
She took a third of my health out last turn, so yikes. He will then aim and fire for actions 2 and 3.
Vikki hungry. Zombies don't talk.
And I'll spend a hope to reroll that, because I have a suspicion that I know the AC based on previous rolls, and that wasn't high enough.
All right.
And no, that was actually worse. Good times. Yeah. That's the end of his highly ineffective turn.
So you take aim and fire, but you're just too rattled. This thing bit you. Are you infected? You don't know. You're too shaken up, and you just do not. That is the end of Chris Bridges' turn. Next up, Vikki, the zombie. It is her turn, and she's going to attempt to bite. She's going to try and bite Martin.
All right. He is going to attempt to dodge this first bite.
All right. Natural 20 on the die.
I am going to use one of my hope points to turn that into a regular hit.
Good call, because that would have been a crit.
I don't feel like becoming a zombie.
All right, so that is going to prevent that from being a crit. It is still a hit, though, so let's see what it does. Yep. 6 points of damage.
Okay, so I have 3 resistance, and I'm assuming it's piercing because she's trying to bite.
Yes, it is piercing damage, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll take 3 damage and 1 ding to my armor.
Correct.
You didn't try and get those molars on him for bludgeoning.
It's just, So that was Vikki's first action. Her second action is going to be attempting to bite Martin again.
Okay.
Oh, that's terrible. And we'll desperately try and bite you for a third time, which I'm going to wager is still going to be a miss, even though I rolled pretty well, because it comes out to be a 15.
That is actually a hit on him, because his AC is not super great. He's more tanky than...
Let me make sure I've got the math on this right. Oh, wait, no, it's not agile. Okay, sorry, it's not 15, it's 13.
That's still going to do it without his dodge.
All right. Well,
even with the +1 from the agility?
Oh, yeah, it'll still do it by 1 with the +1 that he gets from the other thing. Yeah.
So, Vikki is going to bite you again with the third attack. Just barely manages to clip you. Only 4 points of damage, so you're only going to take 1.
1, yeah. But that does put my armor into half.
So your armor is broken now. Okay.
Yes.
So your armor is broken, which means your AC just dropped. If it's giving you a bonus, its bonus just got cut in half.
Mine does not give me a bonus to my AC, which is part of why my AC is so low. Mine just gives me resistance to basically every type of damage, but it doesn't give me an AC boost.
But once it does get to destroyed, it'll stop protecting you entirely. You'll basically just be wearing scraps. So that is the end of Sales Elf Vikki's turn. So hooray for that. We're back at the top of the order. Martin, we are back to you.
Okay. No, after Vikki was
oh,
Danny,
sorry.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
I think one more person goes. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Got turned around there for a sec. Danny, you are actually next.
All right. Danny is going to aim, fire. Let's see. So leveling. Give me a good roll, Google. No, I know that one's not going to work because that's an 11 off the die, making that a 16. So then he's going to take his round in between to aim, meaning that he'll get a -4 instead of a -5 on this one.
All right.
It's just going to give him a +1, which might do it. No, probably not, because that's a 17 off the die, which with all of that back and forth just puts him at an 18 for his iterative attack.
An 18 hits.
Yeah, man.
The
I
bullet,
like it.
the bullet manages to clip zombie Vikki. Go ahead and give me damage.
Oh, man. All right, let's see. Big D6 here. Don't let me down just like that with a 2. It was a 2.
It's a pocket pistol. I forgot. All you have is a
Mhm.
pocket pistol, so it's only doing D6s. All right. So you clip Vikki, but that does not really slow her down all that much. That is the end of Danny's turn. Romero, we are down to you. You are bottom of the order. What do you got?
I think after totally embarrassing himself last time, having the one bullet like explode in the gun and the other one shoot like 4 feet above Vicky's head, he's just gonna, calm down, take a deep breath, aim at her, and fire the rifle. That is a total of 20 even.
20 is a hit. The rifle comes true. The hunting rifle does lock on to Vikki and hits her squarely. Go ahead and give me some damage.
7 on the D10.
7. That is very solid damage. Vikki is kind of knocked flat for just a moment. That is not down yet, but she now looks pretty badly hurt. That kind of ripped through her torso and kind of shredded some of her insides. Not that she needs them, but damage is still damage. So that was, let's see, Romero, that was 2 of your actions, right? You aimed and fired?
Yeah, and I think for his third action, kind of emboldened by actually getting a hit on her, he's going to run in to give Gravedigger the flank.
Bold. You go running up to give Gravedigger the flank.
He's the kid. He's going to live forever,
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's going to be fine. So you go running up, threatening Vikki with your brass knuckles, giving Gravedigger the flank. We are at the top of the order. Gravedigger, you have the flank. Now is your chance.
All right, let's see what can we do. He takes a swing at her. That is with the flank a 19.
A 19 hits. You managed to connect with the brass knuckles.
And I think the flank was what did it, because it would have been a 17.
It is.
That is, let's roll one of my fancy D4s. It might give me a better, nope, that is not going to be a better result. That is only going to be 3 points of damage, unfortunately.
Every bit helps. You hit Vikki with your fist and knock off a chunk of flesh. But she's still like scrambling around on the floor trying to get her footing back up underneath her so that she can reach out and bite people. That was only your first action, though. You do still have 2 more.
Yep, he is going to take another swing. Nope, that is only going to be a 6 total, which is another.
That's another ding on the
fail.
brass knuckles. Yeah. So you swing again and this time hit the floor. And the brass knuckles, I believe, are now broken. So you're going to be taking a -2.
They are now broken. That is 2 out of 4. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be taking a -2 on further attacks made with them.
Yep. And his third action. Can you do a what do you call it? Like in 2E?
Recall knowledge.
I recall knowledge, like aid another. Is there an aid another?
Are you trying to aid another melee attack, basically? Is that kind of what you're trying to do?
Yes, I'm going to attempt to aid Romero since he's flanking with me. Like, it'll probably be dead from gunshots by the time it gets to him again, but just in case.
All right. Yeah, we'll get to that when it's Romero's turn next, but yes, we can say that is what you are doing. Let's go to Chris. It is your turn now.
Okay. You're not going to believe this, but he's going to aim and then fire.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, no. That dice is banned. And we'll just try again.
All right.
These bullets not going great. But that will do it, because that was an 18 on the dice, so it becomes a
that's gonna hit.
19.
That will hit. You do manage to hit it the next time with your... I don't remember what gun you're using. Just a handgun?
A revolver.
Revolver. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was his 5th bullet, so he only has 1 left after this. But
oh boy,
in the chamber, he has bullets.
Yeah, no, I figured.
Much better. 9 on the D10.
9.
Nice.
So you take aim and splatter Vikki across the floor of this holiday workshop. That 9 puts Vikki down, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. We will go ahead and drop out of combat as Vikki, the zombie, has been killed. Unfortunately, she splattered all over most of the bears that were on the ground, so those aren't in good shape anymore. But there are some that went flying in different directions and are probably.
They're just deady bears now. But literally, as a former seasonal retail employee, this is exactly what I wanted too. So I'm sure that he's doing far better.
I'm really happy that these are splattered with gore.
Oh. Chris would take a moment to refill the revolver and just kind of try and shake himself out of that whole situation. He had barely seen this leaper before she leapt, and now she's leapless in Seattle. But he looks back to where he sees the toy trains, and he's trying to take his mind off this situation, and is like, did I ever tell you guys about the last time I tried to throw a Christmas party for kids? And he remembers this time where before the fall he was working in HR for a local Pacific Northwest beverage company, Jones Soda. He had finished a refreshing turkey and gravy seasonal beverage, and
as someone who's actually had one of those, they were awful.
So bad.
They were not good.
just dreadful. I think the pumpkin pie was maybe worse because it was just like cinnamon. 12
like you
ounces of cinnamon.
expected that one to maybe be good, but instead it just betrayed you even harder.
Yeah.
So we're being cast back to a holiday party, right? So this is Jones Soda Holiday Party 2021.
Yeah, and as bad as those holiday beverages are, and they are truly dreadful, the proceeds from those go to charity, and so Chris got to deliver gifts to Toys for Tots this year, and so it was something that for him was it was almost it was partly an honor, partly a punishment to have to be the one to do that, but he was pretty pleased with that, and so he was reminded of that with these trains, and so he had showed up with a bunch of presents for kids at this charity.
So you're at this holiday party, right? There's kids running hither and yon, like getting under feet. The adults are just trying to step around them and have small conversations with each other. Is there anyone here that you'd like to talk to? Or that you did talk to in this case?
Yeah, in this case, he would have tried to see if he could catch a moment of his former boss, well, at the time, his current boss, Deanna, and just see if he could find her to thank her.
And he did. He found her as she was handing out toy trains to the various kids, and handing those out to all of them. And she gets up and she's like, "Whew, boy, they're just everywhere today. Look at them. At least they're happy."
Yeah, those little skips. It's honestly, I wanted to thank you for letting me be a part of this and bring them a bit of holiday cheer.
She goes, "No, thank you for setting this all up. Listen, I know this isn't the most fun job, but it really does make a difference to the kids, and that's really what matters."
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a little bit different, but yeah, it's good to see those smiles. Like nothing in the world could ever go wrong.
I mean, what do we have to worry about? I mean, that pandemic is over, so everything's going to be great now.
Yeah, I'll drink to that, and he'll crack open a sweet potato beverage and take a long drink.
And she's like, "You're braver than I am." She's like, "Hey, we were all about to gather for the group photo. Do you want to come?"
Oh yeah, thank you.
All right.
I'd love to. And yeah, so he would follow and stand in front of what I imagine might have been a large novelty red train.
Yeah.
And pose.
And the photo's taken, and then we are kind of flashed back into our current time. So that is your flashback. We learned that you worked for Jones Soda in HR, and you helped the kids around the holiday times. Good to know what you were doing before the fall. Now that unlocks a feat for you as well. What did we unlock for you?
For this office worker that Chris has that role, he has the leadership feat Inspire, which will let him spend an action to grant a +1 status bonus on attack, damage, and saving throws against fear to every ally within 50 feet until the start of his next turn.
It's a pretty handy little ability, being able to give everybody a perk on their attack and damage rolls until the start of your next turn. Yeah. For Jones Soda will be your battle cry.
Yeah, you guys are doing great. Keep up the good work. And then everyone's like, "All right, we are doing pretty great."
Yeah, no, it's fine.
There we go.
That
Would
guy
you say when you look at that photograph, every time you do it makes you laugh?
Oh.
If you try to hand me a nickel, I'll
Tract
hand it
one
right
hope.
back to you.
All right, so you're still in the shop here. There are actually, now that you think of it, there are actually train sets back here, and I'm sure Chris's eye is drawn to them. They're not the nicest train. There are train sets.
Yeah. Do they look like? I remember you said that like they need batteries, but do they look like a kid could like force them to move by hand, like if they had to like playing with, like just shove them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, in that all those trains you could just move along the track, but if you had a battery to put in it, they would probably go on some tiny
Go on their own, yeah.
electric motor.
Mhm.
Running them by hand would probably wreck the electric motor, but frankly, it's probably shot anyway. Been sitting in a box for a decade, so who knows if it's.
Yeah, Chris would go and try and see how many he could fit in his backpack.
All right. Yeah, if you take them out of the box, if you discard the kind of large, bulky boxes that have them all displayed in a window, and you just open them up, you can kind of fit all the trains in your bag, all the trains and car pieces in your bag. So they're still a little bulky. They probably take up 2 spots in your bag each, but you can fit in as many as you want. There's about a dozen back here.
Ooh. Okay. There's a lot of trains, Mickey. I don't mind filling my bag up with them. That'll give me 9 sets. 3 more if anybody wants them.
The bears take up 1 spot each, and there's 4 of those that didn't get covered in zombie goo.
I'll take a couple of those. And maybe while I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Martin, do you wanna you're looking like that bear over there. You wanna sit down? And he starts pulling out his first aid kit.
Yeah, he'll toss one of the bears into his pack, and then he'll say, "Yeah, I I guess I'm not as spry as I used to be. Took a couple of hits there. If you're willing to patch me up a bit.
Yeah. So,
So
oh,
so you
sorry, go ahead.
can use medicine on Martin. Chris, you used medicine on just like half an hour ago, so you need to wait a little longer before Chris can get. But Martin, you can do right now.
Mhm. And so you are within I have not touched you for an hour medically. That's creepy. Anyway, so it's not really the way I wanted that to come out, but we're going to roll with it. So he's
All
pulled
right.
out his first aid kit. And so here's a fun thing. So I am with my flashback, that puts my medicine at 10. And because I am adept in medicine, I also have assurance in that skill. So I could take a 10 there, correct? And get the 20 for my expert level treat wounds, which could give you a D4 plus 4.
That'd be very helpful.
All right. So if you've got a bruise, you can take that old bruise off. Do you want to roll your own D4?
I can.
Give Google a break. It's working real hard for me.
There you go. That's a 4.
All right.
Oh.
So yeah, one of the things you'll notice in Hopefinder is all the characters start off with kind of a baseline of like, I'm kind of okay at doing a whole bunch of stuff. But it's really the way that you specialize that you become good at something. So having a skilled medic with you means that you can recover from wounds a lot easier. Having a skilled construction worker means you're going to be a lot easier at building and taking down barricades. Having someone who's a skilled marksman is going to mean that you're going to be shooting zombies a lot easier, right? All of these things kind of play together in interesting ways. That's kind of how you balance your party, because there aren't classes, right? You know, it's all about what kind of roles you decide to take. All right. So Danny goes to work on Martin, patching up his wounds, breaking out the first aid kit, and doing what he can to help with the wounds. Chris is back there packing stuff up. Romero, what are you doing during all this? You want to take a look around? You want to just keep on watch? What are you up to?
I think he's gonna reload his gun and mostly keep on watch, but I think probably stuff a bear and a train set in his backpack take up some of that space.
Sure. So you're up at the front of the store, kind of keeping an eye out, and you can kind of look over to the south and see Santa's village, but frankly, there's like all these little like gumdrop buildings and nonsense like that are covered in moss and mold and stuff that you really can't see what's going on over there. But looking back the other way, looking back to the north, right? If we pull up the map here, the party is right there. But looking back to the north and looking up, you can kind of see through the hole that leads up to the second floor, like between the walkways. And up there, you can see the Pick 3 movies, right? So from where you're sitting, looking back kind of up through the opening, you can see the movie theater up above. And from where you're sitting, you're pretty sure you can see some arcade cabinets. Which catch your eye in particular. But yeah, that's what you can kind of see from where you're at, is that Pick 3 movie theater up there. Now, one thing going on back in Free Ballard is they just recently reclaimed and reopened the Majestic movie theater. But the problem is they're stuck with whatever movies were showing during 2022. So there's been kind of a general directive that if anybody finds any film canisters to bring them back, because the community desperately wants more movies to watch. So there is that.
I think Romero's gonna, like, from standing up there, point upstairs and say, maybe we should run up and hit the theater. I have no idea what was showing back then, but hopefully they got something we don't have back at Ballard.
Yeah, you can't quite tell from here what movies were playing here when the world came undone. The Majestic, which is a theater in right near Free Ballard, was kind of an art house place, so it was running kind of more art housey films. It wasn't running like big blockbuster superhero movies or anything like that. So any of those would certainly be greatly appreciated if they could be recovered, but who knows, right? All right, so the rest of you are busy loading stuff up. Everybody's kind of wrapped up. After about 10 minutes, you've gathered up a bunch of stuff. This place is dark, but it looks like other than Vikki, there weren't any other zombies in here, at least none that you've seen. There is kind of a back storeroom, but the door to it is locked. and you don't really know what's back there. Pitch black, so who knows? But that's the situation you're in. So what do you do?
So did Romero point out the theater to the rest of us?
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think Martin would maybe say there's probably a toy display or two over in that village, but I wonder if before we hit that, if we should stop upstairs and see if maybe they have some films in the theater.
It's a good idea. We can also get a little view down what's going on. Can't see past that candy cane gumdrop nonsense.
That's true. All right. So let's go back to the map here. We're going to go ahead and move your survivor token. You make your way back kind of this way to this escalator that goes up. And you're able to kind of easily make your way up the escalator. There's nothing really blocking it. Obviously, it doesn't work, but you can still use it as stairs. So you climb up the escalator, and that takes you up here to the pick. All right, so you've made it upstairs. You've crawled up the escalator, avoiding any debris or anything on there. They're stopped, so they're more like stairs. And you are now up in front of the pick 3. Now there are some shops across the way from you that I should probably note. You couldn't really see these from down below, but you know what? I know I just took the map away, but let me put it back up here for just half a second. So you're now up here near the pick 3. You've got stores. You can really kind of make out stores 27 through 30 now. You can see the food court off in the distance. You know what's going on over there. You're also near some restrooms. But stores 27 through 30, let me read off what those are. Store 27 is called Spice Zone. Looks like it's a place that sells more kind of edgy t-shirts. There is a place 28 is called Clothes Barn. Looks like a discount clothing store. Place 29 is called Stuffies. Stuffies looks like a place where you get to make your own teddy bears and put them in interesting outfits. And like dinosaurs and all sorts of stuff. You get to make your own stuffed animals. That's 29. And 30 is kind of a weird store that looks like it's called Buster's Bunker. And looking at it, it looks like a survivalist shop. The roll top door for this is down. And in the window, and the window has a roll top in it as well. The outside window has been broken, but it doesn't look like anyone's been able to get inside yet. But even in the window, you can see a machine gun. It definitely looks like this is the place in this mall that might have ammo and guns, but the roll top is down and you have no idea how you'd get in there.
So they were wrapping all those cool gifts downstairs. Were they wrapping any lockpicks?
You didn't see them. You did not see them wrap up a set of lockpicks. I know someone who this would be perfect for the holiday season.
Yeah.
No, you don't see anything like that. So you're up at the top of the stairs. You're right next to the Pick 3 movie theater. It looks like they were showing, movies from late 2022. So like Avatar and Wakanda Forever. This place is a gold mine. It's got good movies.
Oh man, let's see if they have Underlings, Rise of Stew.
Doesn't look like it. Looks just like a 3-screen movie theater. Not a huge place. 3 screens. It has a concessions area, and an arcade. Obviously, all of that stuff is no longer powered. The giant kind of case filled with popcorn is there's barely any popcorn left in it. It looks like whatever survivors were here ate the popcorn. It also looks like the concession stand's been raided. Although even from here, you can see some boxes of like old gobstoppers and stuff.
Well, they call them everlasting for a reason.
Yeah, because they survived the apocalypse. They're probably still good. Hard, but probably still edible. So that is what you see from where you're at. What do you do?
Well, do we want to try to crack open the machine gun egg first, or do we want to try to get those movies?
I say we get the movies because we don't. I feel like
Yeah.
it's going to be a loud affair. You know what I mean? So maybe we can just go.
All right.
Yeah, let's definitely see if we can find some film first.
All right.
Yeah. Maybe we could have Big Swede come back here and he could just like pop that roll top right up. The strong guy.
All right. So you make your way over to the pick 3, and the front doors of it are locked, but somebody broke in the window right next to it. So you can easily kind of climb in and climb out without too much trouble. So let's go ahead and look here. We're going to go ahead and move your token on the inside. You've now climbed inside the pick 3 movies. So that's where you are. Yeah, this place no longer smells of popcorn. It's been a decade, so that smell finally cleared out. In fact, the place just kind of smells like moldy and wet rot. It's clear that there's a leak in the roof somewhere nearby because the carpet on the north side is just moldy and black from water leaking in from the ceiling. But other than that, yeah, you've got 3 movie theaters. The doors that probably lead into the projection area are right next to each movie theater. So, but you don't, those doors don't exactly look like they're unlocked. They're closed. You don't know though. So, what do you do?
Martin, when you were still in the industry, was this guy wrestling the Stone? I guess he's an actor now. I don't know.
Yeah, no, nobody liked him that much. Had a bit of an ego. But yeah, let's see if this is unlocked or not. He's gonna just kind of shove at the closed door. And does it budge?
No. They're the doors. You go and check all 3 of them, and all 3 of them are locked. They probably, in fact, cannot be unlocked. They're the type of door that you have to have the key to get.
Is there an office?
Not that you see. There might be one hidden somewhere, but odds are it's probably behind one of those doors that then leads to projection booth or office, right?
I think he'll say, well, I know we just said we didn't want to check the surplus store because of the noise, but how about one of you with guns keep an eye out because this might get loud, and he will take his sledgehammer that he definitely picked back up after the fight in the other store was done, and he is going to attempt to batter one of these doors open.
All right. So while that's happening, what's Danny and Romero up to? And Chris, for that matter, I guess.
I mean,
well, I think Romero has wandered off a little bit from the movie theater part and is just sort of looping his way through the arcade machines, which were, they're games from when he was a kid. So I'm sure there's a couple that are like you sit on the motorcycle and you can lean from side to side, and then he'll maybe stop before one that has the light guns.
Yeah, the light gun cop game. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the light gun games were definitely his jam, and he's gonna lower the rifle and pick up the light guns. And I think that we have this sort of wipe of like the room kind of spins around him, and then we're back in the before time, and the arcade is all lit up, and there's like the sounds of the kids playing the ticket games a little ways off, and there's flashing lights everywhere, and the screen's on, and he's maybe standing on a little bit of a box to have a good view of the screen because he's playing the gun game, but he's probably not really old enough to be playing the gun game. He's just like a little 9-10-year-old kid, and he's got the 2 pistols. He's doing both player 1 and player 2 by himself, and he's on fire. He's just like shooting zombies, and probably his House of the Dead or something. He's headshotting zombies, and one gun shooting off screen to reload while the other one's headshotting zombies, and it ducks behind cover, and like he's on like the roll of a lifetime at this point, like to the point where other people in the arcade, at least in his memory, are like watching as this little kid is going for a 1/4 playthrough of the entire game. It feels like it's just like he's having the time of his life. Like he can't possibly miss, and no one's ever gonna bite him. The exact opposite of what he was doing with Vikki in the shop downstairs, where it took him 3 shots to even get close to her. It's every single one is just absolutely perfect, and he feels like he could play forever.
And as he's doing that, his older brother, Nick, is slowly walking up behind him, and the rest of you know Nick. Nick is in the community. Nick is Romero's older brother, and a solid member of the community. Does his job, goes out, does runs just like the rest of you. And Nick kind of comes up behind. This is a young Nick. Comes up behind Romero and says, "Yeah, you think you're so good. How about try this?" And covers up both of his eyes.
He like screams and like tries to twist out from under it and tries to keep shooting even though he can't see. He's like, "Stop! You're killing me! This is a perfect run. This is the stuff of legends."
And he's like, "Yeah, you'll never beat my high score." And he's messing with you, and almost predictably, the zombies quickly over with you not being able to see them.
It's the tragedy. It's the great tragedy of our time. The perfect run goes down, and both players get eaten by zombies. And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you, Nick."
Man, we gotta get home. We're running late.
All right. And now he'll grab like he put up a quarter on the screen just to like sort of reserve the next play for himself. But this particular quarter is one of the old like standing Liberty quarters where it's practically rubbed flat because it's the kind of thing that's been around for 80 years. He makes sure to grab that and stuff it in his pocket before he walks away. And then, we flip back around and the place is dark and the arcade machine screen is off and the light guns are still there, but they don't do anything anymore.
So we learned a bit about Romero's backstory. That was his flashback from before the fall. And you're going to gain a feat out of that as well. What do you get? You get to improvise? Is that what you got on your sheet there?
Yeah, he's has the builder background, and with the feat he gets improvise, you can build. Let me find the actual text of it. But basically, instead of taking 10 minutes to construct cover that you can hide behind, the DC goes up a little bit, and you can build a makeshift cover in 2 actions, something to hide behind in combat to get a little bit of protection.
Yeah, you can use it to throw a table on its side and throw a cinder block up against it and just have a temporary barricade. It's not going to be great. It's not going to hold much, but it's better than nothing, which if there's a lot of zombies coming at you can mean all the difference. All right, so he's got the improvise feat and just kind of staring at the arcade machines. Danny, what are you up to?
Well, he doesn't have anybody to fix. So yeah. I think he's probably going to kind of be near Martin, but looking in the opposite direction as Martin is making noise.
So keeping an eye out. And what's Chris doing?
Chris spits out a stale Thin Mint and says, "Oh, that is a terrible idea." But over by the concession stand, he's trying to see, are there keys under the register? Is there anything did somebody leave something we can use to get into these projection rooms?
So you don't see keys behind a register, but when you look on the other side of the concessions, you do see a corpse. There is a long dead body. This is not a zombie. It's a skeleton. There is not much left on. It looks like this was a concession person. Looking down at it, you can see from wearing the red vest and the little tiny gold name tag, identifying this person as someone named Steve. Steve looks like he had a really bad last day because his clavicle is snapped and there are teeth marks in it. That looks like somebody bit clean through his clavicle at some point in time. And the top of his skull is kind of cracked. But all the gore and viscera is now long gone. Steve is nothing but a silent reminder of the dark days of when the zombies overran everybody.
Ooh.
However, give me a perception check.
Don't mind if I do. If only I had something here that wasn't one of my only bottles of water, I'd pour one out for old Steve. That wobbled off the 20 onto a 2 for an 8.
Yeah, you look down at
The
poor
hope.
Steve, and you don't really spot anything of value. It looks like he's laying on a half-crushed box of sour candies. But that's about all you see.
Is hope only for combat, or could I?
No, you
reroll
can use that at any
perception?
time.
Don't mind if I do.
All right. Don't like that perception
literally-
check. I'm not here for sour candy. Give me the good stuff.
There's only one number lower than a 2, so I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
my
fair.
odds of rolling better are fairly mathematically likely.
Uh-oh.
And no,
Famous
not
last
with that.
words.
Fairly likely indeed. That brings it up to a total of a 15.
15 is actually what you needed to spot that on Steve's waist is one of those zip pull waistband things that
Yeah,
at the end of
with a
which
key ring on it.
is a set of keys.
Yes, well worth the hope spent.
Indeed.
Hey guys, check this out. F in the chat for Steve, but had some keys on them, and maybe that'll open up one of those doors. And
So
he'd walk
you-
him over to Martin.
Martin
You're
looks
saying
over
that
from where
just
he's
as
got a
Martin's about
fist-sized
to,
hole built into one of these doors. He goes, what?
just as Martin's about to smash open a door, you mentioned that you found a set of keys. All right. Yeah, you can take the keys, and lo and behold, the keys open up the doors to the film booth. And just to keep things simple and keep things moving, you're able to kind of go into the projectionist booths. Now, the upside is some of these are really easy for you to take because they're just giant canisters of film, but they are really heavy. Like, the giant film canisters are not light. They are giant spools of film, and they weigh a lot of pounds. So you probably don't want to carry these with you. You probably just want to pile them up and come get them on your way out, because they weigh way too much to really want to carry around. Like, you could carry it, but it would take up like your whole backpack. So if one of you wants to do that, you can, but one of these will take up an entire backpack. So I leave that up to you. Otherwise, you can just pile them up and try and grab them on your way out. And
Yeah,
grab
I
a
think it
shopping
makes
cart.
more sense to do that.
Yeah, that's what we're doing with the machinery kit anyway, I believe. So I think we'll just.
all right.
At some
okay,
point we'll
so
find a wheelbarrow in the mall.
Yeah, I mean, they're actually.
I mean, there might be shopping carts or something in one of the.
Yeah,
Bullseye.
you haven't seen shopping carts in the mall proper, but the big box stores all have shopping carts. So
Yeah.
you saw shopping carts in the Home and Castle.
Yeah, I figured there were probably some in there.
Yeah, but
In
the
fact,
little
they would probably have like those big wheeled dollies in that place, like the kind of ones that you put like wood on or something.
yeah, they might have jacks. Yeah, they could have something like that. You know, they could have a lot of stuff. Who knows? But you haven't really taken a deep look in there. So right now you can just kind of pile these up next to the door or something if you want. Is there anything else here you're trying to get? You do, when you get into the large theater's projectionist room, there is a side passageway that goes to what looks like an office.
Oh yeah, let's
Uh,
check this out.
yeah.
Maybe the manager
Yeah.
bought gifts for their kids.
All right.
Yeah, if the key works.
So you make your way into the manager's office, and you open up the manager's office to, frankly, a pretty grim This room has the security cameras that look into the rest of the theaters, right? So there's a security camera for the theaters and a security camera for the kind of main area, and they're all dark, right? There's no light in here. There's no power. But there is another body in. And it's clear that the manager of this place saw what was happening out in the mall and decided to take an easier way out. There is a pistol lying on the floor next to the body. This is a revolver. There is a revolver on the floor, and the revolver, and sitting on the table is a box of pistol ammo.
And someone will take that.
Yeah, maybe Danny want to upgrade to the bigger gun, and
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I will. If
Because that's better than, because you just have the pocket pistol, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that a flip over right now. So I'm gonna pull those stats.
All right. Also,
The ammo again.
also this room, hanging up on a coat rack, is a leather duster. Now you could just take the leather duster, but a leather duster you could also probably break down to make patches for anyone who has leather armor. So you could scrap that to get parts to do repairs on anyone's armor if you. FYI.
yeah,
Just check those pockets for lockpicks or anything else. of value.
There's no lockpicks.
I think Martin will take the duster and stuff it in his pack to, like you said, cut it apart later and try to use
Sure.
it to patch his thing up when we're back in the settlement later on.
Sure. I mean, yeah, that'll count as like 6 leather parts when you scrap it.
Mm.
That's kind of what it is.
Because I imagine that doesn't sound like something we could do while we're sitting here. Like,
if you want it, I mean,
I
if
don't
you
think we have a sewing kit or anything to.
Yeah, you need a kit to kind of do it properly. So
Yeah.
if you don't have a kit, then you kind of can't do it in the field. But
Yeah.
you can make sure to bring that back so that later on you can fix up your armor.
Yeah.
Use it to patch up your armor from where it's been beat up and broken.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so you're kind of done at the movie theater. It looks like that military supply store that
Yeah,
know.
I don't think we're going to be able to get. I think that to me falls, and I think he'll actually say, so I know it looks like there's some good gear possibly still in there, but I feel like that place is the perfect example of what Big Swede was talking about when he said if we see anything that it doesn't look like we can get at the moment to let him know about. None of us have the kind of equipment to get that door open. I say we just put a bookmark in that and tell him about it, and he can send another crew in later with the right equipment.
Yeah, you can maybe try and come back and break inside Buster's bunker.
Like, I feel like that would be like somebody that had like lock picks or bolt cutters or something that like that. We're not outfitted to get into there, and it's not really part of what we're here for this trip, as much as it looks like it's probably got some good stuff.
Do we think the chainsaw could cut into there?
So
I wouldn't recommend it.
it's a metal it's a metal
It's so
roll top
bad.
door. Like, would the chainsaw cut through that? Maybe, but there's just as decent a chance that you just destroy the chainsaw.
Yeah.
And possibly myself.
As an
Yeah, oh,
electric chainsaw owner, I would not recommend that.
Listen to the man speaking from experience. Do not use a chainsaw on a metal roll top door.
That's what a sawzall is for. The
Yeah.
real
Exactly.
dangerous 90-degree sawing.
Let's just go down to Home and Castle, get a sawzall, and be right back.
Or a Dremel, if we have like 6 days.
Yes, the Dremel, the world's slowest tool.
A Dremel.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Should we head to the food court then? I feel like we should probably maybe see if there's any supplies we could pick up and You can kind of see down in the center.
So I will say this. It's getting a little late. Like, it's not super late yet. You haven't been here that long, but you have been here for like 3 hours now, 3 or 4 hours now.
Yeah.
So it's already getting to be mid-afternoon. Obviously, you can kind of take this at whatever pace you want, but it is starting to get a little late.
Yeah, and I think Martin, who got beat up by a zombie earlier, will say there may be something good there, but that also seems like an area where a lot of people may have been congregating before all this happened. No offense to anybody else, but I feel like I'm getting pretty close to being done with this mall for today after our little scuffle with Vikki earlier. So I think maybe we check out the Christmas Village. There's got to be a toy display there, and then head on out.
Yeah,
If it's okay with everyone else.
I think we're on the same page, Martin. I'm talking about walking over to it looks like the food court looks down on the Christmas Village. Unless you wanted to go down and just walk across to get there.
Yeah, so really you've got 2 options here. From where you're at right now in the Pick 3 movies, you can either kind of head up toward the food court area. You don't actually have to go in the food court. You could just go up to the food court area and look down on Santa's Village. Or
and then there is a staircase there too, isn't there?
Yeah, there is a staircase right there that goes right down into Santa's Village. Or you could go down the staircase that you came up in, go back down to the first floor, and walk straight to Santa's Village. Either one works.
I like the former.
I think going from the top.
Yeah, that's good.
So let's look down first.
All right. So let's go ahead and bring the map back up here. And we're going to go ahead and just grab your token. Here it is. And we're going to bring you down here. So you do make your way down here. This does allow you to look into the food court where there are, like, there's the taco place. There's the chowder place because it's Seattle. There's the, there's the place that does teriyaki, there's sandwiches and all that sort of stuff. All these signs look broken and ruined, and it is clear, even from a distance, that there are a handful of zombies wandering around back in there. And in fact, some of them look like they're wandering around behind the stands, and it's almost looking like they still work there, even though they clearly don't, because a few of them are still wearing their, like, bright colored smocks and their little hats. But they don't really seem to pay you any mind. Now, in addition, you do get to see some of the other shops around here. You are right near, bringing the map back up, 26 is a shop called 2022 Forever, which looks like a clothing place and like a teen kids accessory store. 25 is a place called the Hunting Lodge, which looks like it has outdoor gear. So, outdoorsman type gear. The roll top door on that one is mostly closed. You'd have to pry it open. And you can kind of even see down to shop 21 and 22, which is one's called Dress to Impress, and the other one's called Perfect Pals, which looks like a pet store. So that's kind of what you see from where you're at, kind of right there, right at the edge of the food court. But that's not what you're really interested in. What you're interested in is what's down below. So looking down below, you see a little village. There's a little Christmas village. And there's a bunch of little Christmas houses. And there's a bunch of red rope stanchions kind of creating the waiting line to go see Santa. Because right up in the middle, there's a big chair where Santa would sit. And all of this would, you imagine, be a pleasant and nice place to visit. However, it's recessed and the skylight above has been broken for 10 years. So it's got about a foot of standing water in it. And it is gross. The entire thing is covered in mold and moss and mildew and stuff growing up all the sides. Some of the little candy cane houses have collapsed into piles of mush. There are some gifts there. But the thing that you can kind of spy is just just barely looking down, kind of craning your head and looking around. Shop 12 across the way there is called the Toy Box, and it looks like a toy store.
Cha-ching.
Has it been long enough now to where Danny could top
Yes.
up Chris real quick before we check out the toy box?
Sure.
Yep.
And maybe we back away from the food court with the zombies and be like, maybe if you just have a minute of your time.
You could even done this back in the movie theater. You would have had time at this point. So, yeah, go ahead and make the medicine. Actually, you don't even need to make a medicine check.
Mm-hmm.
Assurance just lets you get a 20. So, go ahead and get a D4 plus 4 back, which I think will bring you back to full.
Yeah, I was down 3, so minimum, and I down now to only 2 bruises.
Yeah, that gets rid of 1 bruise. All right. So, we'll just assume you did that back in the pick 3 where you were relatively safe. So you're standing here now. The choice that you have is either to go down the escalator here and wade through it's probably about a foot deep water and make your way over to the toy store, or backtrack all the way, go downstairs, and then make your way.
I think we'll
Up to you.
probably head down.
You can just head down here.
A quick peek while we're doing, just look down any
Little perceptive view.
zombonis.
Danny, before we head down, is like, I am so sorry, guys. I need like 30 seconds. Can someone cover my 6? And he just starts doing a slight light jog towards perfect friends, perfect pals.
No.
All right.
With a spoon.
So you go running over to Perfect Pals. And goodbye. See you forever. And you make your way up there and look inside. The roll top for this is up. There are no living pets in here anymore. Unsurprisingly. You don't know if there are any unliving pets in here, but you don't see any from the window. What exactly are you looking for?
Anything that Witherspoon would like. Alice has been haranguing me about getting something for Witherspoon.
So in the window, there is a display of like cans of cat food. They're really old, but there's also some like cat accoutrement. There's like little cat bowls that look like little cat faces, right? You know, for their food. That's pretty adorable. And that's just in the window. So you could get that easily by just breaking the window.
Yeah, I think a little wrap something around his hand and just kind of bash it open. I guess his dinged crowbar, just the cutest little smash and grab.
So
you could ever imagine.
do me a favor and give me a reflex save.
Come on. Not bad. That's a 16 plus 5. That's a 21.
So you avoid taking any damage. That's what I was trying to check. It was a reflex save to see if you failed it, you might take a little damage, which probably would have been absorbed by your armor, but could have caused you to take a bruise or a ding. So yeah, you managed to avoid that. When you break it open, it does sound like something in the back wakes up, but it doesn't come running out toward you yet. So you're wagering if you grab and go, you can probably get out of here safely. All right. You grab a cat bowl and go racing back to your friends. Whether or not he has just called a swarm of zombie chihuahuas down on you is yet to be seen. But, maybe you should just move forward and hope for the best. All right. So you head downstairs?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
We do like perceptions on the way down.
Why don't we just give that a second here? I'm going to go ahead and move this to here. So you make your way down the stairs, taking your way down this escalator, and by the time you get to the bottom, you're standing in a foot of water. And it's gross. It doesn't smell particularly good. But it's like there's enough plants growing in it now that it's actually probably not that dirty. But still gross standing water. And as the group of you make your way down there, the door to Santa's shack, which is like the little thing behind Santa, suddenly breaks open as you splash into the water, and out comes a terrifying, horrifying, nightmarishly gross Santa. His suit swollen and blackened in places, his flesh sagging from his body, his hat jaunty and off to one side, his belly definitely not filled with jelly. He comes stumbling out. Ho, ho, ho! And you notice he still is grasping a axe. It's a zombie with a fire axe wearing a Santa suit, and he comes stumbling out towards you. And I will want perception checks from you, but they are perception checks to start combat against zombie Santa. I'm sure this is going to go great.
So would you say this Santa looks like a friend?
He does not look like a friend.
Oh, just thought maybe he was more huggable than initially.
Yeah, you have no idea, but you're pretty sure you're all on his naughty list. Danny, what do you got for initiative?
I'm really glad I used that 16 upstairs and have a 5 here for a big 10. Yep.
A 10. That's a number that's sure to get you in no trouble at all. Romero, what do you got?
Doubling you up with a nice 20.
20 is much better. Martin Holloway, Gravedigger, what do you got?
He rolled an 8 for an 11.
Not a great number.
No.
Definitely putting you on the danger list. Chris, you are rounding it out. What do you got for your initiative?
Speedy on his feet. 16 on the dice for a 22.
22. All right, our initiative is set. Santa has come bursting out of his shack. The rotten, fetid form of Father Christmas is a mockery of the life and joy and happiness he once brought. Now he is only a bringer of death. But he doesn't go first, so that's good. He's got to check his list and check it twice. Chris, you get to go first.
Oh boy, this is definitely not what I was hoping to encounter. But cheer up, mates. We can kill Santa and save Christmas. And that'll be an action to inspire.
All right. We can kill Santa
and then we'll
save Christmas.
Yeah, will be great. And then he'll aim a revolver at Santa Claus. And feel kind of bad about this, but he'll fire.
He takes aim and shoots Santa. We can call him Zombie Santa if that makes you feel better. He's not real Santa.
That does help a little. Probably a hit though, 22.
A 22 is a hit. Your bullet pierces Santa. He groans in pain. Not that he really feels pain.
Ooh.
Go ahead.
Oh, actually, with Inspire, that would have been a 23. Probably not a crit, but
still not a crit, but definitely a hit.
Yeah, don't forget +1 to attack and damage. Here we go. 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. You've unleashed the Blitzen, firing your handgun at poor Santa. This tragic form shudders as the bullet hits. However, you're pretty sure that his Santa suit is so thick and padded that it is providing him some amount of resistance, just like you have with armor. So that's not great.
Yeah. Be awfully tough to slay.
Oh.
No.
All right. That is the first attack on Santa. That was Chris. Chris's turn is over. We are now on to Romero. This is your chance, kid. Make it count.
I think what Romero's going to do is spend his first 2 actions grabbing like a big fiberglass candy cane to throw in front of himself for some makeshift cover.
All right.
Roll a crafting check.
All right.
That's a 22.
All right. So what we're doing here is erecting a barricade. This is a use of the let's see. Is it part of crafting? Yes, it's part of the craft skill is the barricade. Normally it's an exploration activity, but in this case, you can do it in combat thanks to your so this blocks one edge. So I'm going to say it blocks the really kind of the only approach between you and Santa. You kind of back yourself up in a and yeah, you now have a barricade in place that gives you cover. It only has a break value of 1, and the DC to force it open is 10 because it's real makeshift. If you spent more time at it, you could reinforce it and make it stronger. But for now, that's what it's going to do. So if Santa doesn't want to deal with cover, he's going to have to tear down the barricade, which is going to take other actions. So that's what you got. All right, so that's 2 actions.
And for the third action, I guess I probably couldn't do that with the gun in my hand. So I'm just going to pick up the gun and get ready to shoot him next turn.
All right. So Romero has built a barricade and leveled his gun at Santa. Next up, Santa goes. All right.
Oh, no.
Santa moves. Actually, sorry. The first thing Santa does is unleash a terrifying chuckle, a horrid rasping laugh that causes parasites to roil through his belly. No jelly in there at all parasites. All living creatures within 30 feet must attempt a will save. That would be all of you.
Excellent.
If this is is this a fear effect? Because we'd get +1.
It is a fear effect.
Yeah.
So yes, your inspiration does give everyone a +1 bonus.
Nice.
Let me see where it is. I think I have.
So I have an excellent will save.
All right, so let's go counterclockwise this time. Chris, what do you got?
19 off the dice with that inspire, it brings it up to a 26.
You are not afraid of Santa's jolly laugh. What's Martin Holloway got?
I actually have a question.
Yes.
Does this induce the frightened condition if you fail it?
It does.
Then Martin actually does not have to roll because one of his starting feats was resolute, which makes him immune to the frightened condition.
You as well are you just
he just kind of looks at Santa and he is not scared.
You've seen far too much crazy stuff during the fall to be afraid of one laughing Santa's. Romero, I'm wagering you don't have that.
No, and it might have been a little bit scared of normal Santa back before.
Oh no.
I got a 6 on the die for a total of a 10.
A 10, fortunately, is not a critical failure, but it is a failure.
Oh, good.
You are frightened 1, and unlike frightened in normal Pathfinder, because of this effect, you cannot reduce this frightened condition while Zombie Santa is inside. So the only way for you to reduce this frightened condition is to get away from Zombie Santa. Cool. You will be taking a -1 penalty on all further rolls until this fight is over or you run. Danny, what do you got?
This is Danny Pauly's wheelhouse. He has a +8 to will now that he's leveled up. So that is a 23.
Yeah, you're
with
fine.
Chris's inspiration. Not
worried about it at all.
I saw a guy in Bed-Stuy that looked like this once. He lived.
All right. So that was Zombie Santa's first action. For his second and third action, he's going to reach into his rotten bag that's sitting next to his chair, and out of it he pulls out a blackened box that looks like he may have been stuffing it full of rotten meat, and he's going to throw that at one of you. Let me find out who. He's going to throw it at Danny.
Oh no. I'm gonna dodge. Oh wait, this is a range, so I'm gonna hit the deck, but that's so
into
gross.
The water?
It's so gross. I'm not gonna do that. That's disgusting.
Right.
They hit me with the box.
All right.
Yeah.
26.
Oh yeah, that's a crit. That's a crit.
Oh, no.
100%. Yep.
Hope
So
you can
he
do
reels
something about that.
back and
Oh
hits-
wait. Oh goodness! But because it's a crit, I can spend hope.
You
I can
can.
spend hope. Okay,
can.
yeah, you just hit me normally.
Okay,
Whew.
good. You really did not want to be critted by Santa's rotting gift. All right. So, the gift slams into you, and for a moment, it like hits you right in the face, but you manage to swat it and prevent it from like the rotting. It is filled with like rotting flesh. He still has some strange desire to give gifts. So, this box was filled with rotting flesh and probably writhing with parasites. But you managed to swat it away, so you don't have to worry about being exposed to the Z Plague. But he does still hit you, and he hits hard. Take 7 bludgeoning damage from this box.
Does anything you have reduce? Do you have resistance to bludgeoning from anything?
Yeah, no, I'm wearing workwear, so that literally takes 2 off the top.
Yeah.
That's it. So I'm still looking at 5 damage and a ding.
Yeah.
Oh,
5
Chris
damage
Dingle.
and a ding to your workwear. Yeah, one of the dangerous things about crits is that unless you have a helmet, crits also ignore your resistance. Because they assume to hit you somewhere vital. If you have a helmet, you get to apply your resistances. That's what helmets are good for. But in this case, you didn't allow it to be a crit, so you don't have to worry about that. But that would have done 14 damage to you. That could have just outright killed you.
Would have.
Yeah,
or put you in a really
Absolutely.
bad spot. So that is the end of Zombie Santa's turn. Next up, Martin. Holloway, Gravedigger. What do you got for me?
Question, because I didn't see it in the sheet how it would work. For something like the chainsaw that uses fuel, do you have to take an action to like rev that up on top of getting it out?
I will say that you have to spend an action turning it on.
Okay.
It's not just a button. The chainsaw you really actually have to spin up the motor. Yeah. Although actually an electric one you probably don't. I can't imagine that you would for an electric one.
Sam, electric chainsaw owner.
Oh, with an electric one, you just turn it on and then you have to like depress the safety and then push the trigger. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll still, you know what, here's the thing, you still have to slot the battery in, and I'll say that slotting the battery in and turning the thing on is one.
Okay. So, and we are still not directly next to Santa. We're at near,
No.
not close, correct?
No, Santa is near, but not far.
Okay. I think then he is going to, first action, he's going to take the chainsaw off of his back.
Okay.
Second action, he is going to slot the battery in and turn it on. And he is not going to walk up to Santa. He is going to make him come down. So he is actually just not going to do anything for his third action because I don't think there's anything that I can really aid with at the moment.
Well, what you probably used your third action for was actually to put your sledgehammer away instead of dropping it in.
Actually, you know, that's a good point because
Yeah.
he's not going to drop that into that nasty water.
Yeah. All right. So that was Martin's turn. Next up, Danny. You're bottom of the order. Santa is there.
Yeah, and he hit me with something that jingle smells. So
Yeah.
I dry heave and pull out my newly acquired revolver with a very sad backstory.
Yeah.
And
The
I
tragic
let-
revolver. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say probably he didn't. Yeah, I'm gonna say he didn't have it out. So one action he pulls it out, one action he aims, and one action he takes fire.
All right.
So that's going to be a +1 from Chris, a +1 from aiming because that's a stackable bonuses. One's circumstance and one's.
I believe so. Yeah. I think one's a status bonus.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
perfect.
inspire
That's what-
status.
All here. Give me the good stuff. That isn't the good stuff at all. I'm so sorry, everybody. That's a 6 off the die. +5 +2 is not going to do.
I will
Do
remind
anything
you
there.
that you have hope if you want to
Ooh.
spend it.
Ooh, yeah.
At any
Why not?
point,
Let's
if
do
if
it.
there was any
Yeah.
point in this adventure where spending
Yeah.
hope is a way to fight back
Mhm.
against the
Yeah.
foulness that
Yep.
is Zombie Santa, this would be it.
Yep.
Well, let's
And that
rev
is
it
the
again.
attack to do it on, since it's no negatives to it.
All right, perfectly balanced. So that's a 10 off the die, plus the 5 plus 2. That's only a 17, unfortunately.
17 does hit.
Woo-hoo!
Zombie Santa
All
has
right.
armor, but it actually looks like it kind of slows him down a little.
Okay, and that's a 6 off of the D10 plus 1 makes that a 7.
7 points of damage. Again, Zombie Santa's heavy jacket does look like it protects him somewhat, but that does still hurt him. He shudders back as you have shot him once. So draw, aim, fire. That is the end of your turn. We are at the top of the second round. Chris, it is back to you. Zombie Santa is here. He knows when you've been sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
Yeah, come on, guys, keep it up. That's a good first round. Just gotta hold down the fort.
Oh, God.
That's
What's the
one
opposite
action
of
to
inspiration?
inspire. Nope, it's inspired. If you don't want to take the bonus, that's on you. Yeah, aim and fire.
Right.
That is a 24.
24 does hit. A solid hit, not a crit, but still a solid hit.
Okay, all right. And again, 7 points of damage.
Another 7 points of damage. Just taking chunks out of Zombie Santa. He shudders and shakes, but he does not yet go down. I'm assuming, yeah, that was inspire, aim, and fire. So that is the end of Danny's turn. Standing there waiting. Next up, sorry, that was Chris's turn. And next up is Romero.
All right, Romero has got a
Behind his
candy cane.
barricade.
He's got a candy cane in front of him. He's going to take one action to aim his hunting rifle at Xanta and go for the big shot here. Only a 7 on a die, but with all the bonuses adding up, that makes it a 17.
17 does hit. Yeah.
All right. 1 off max damage. We're looking at a total of 10 piercing
And damage. All right. So yeah, you guys are filling Santa full of lead, but that does not seem to be slowing him down. He still looks ready for a fight. That was, did you aim first? Yeah, you aimed.
Yeah.
So that's 2 of your actions. You do still have 1 left.
Yeah, action 3, I'm going to take cover behind my candy cane.
Give yourself increased AC. Very good. All right. So Santa goes, and hearing the sound of the chainsaw, even though he's been shot a bunch, the chainsaw is incredibly loud. Now, one thing I'm going to do here secretly is roll how many rounds of chainsaw you actually have.
Yep.
Okay? And the way that's going to work is if I roll like 1, it will die at the start of your next turn, just so you know. But if there's more than 1, it counts however many rounds it's been on. So I'm gonna roll in secret. Okay, I know how many rounds of chainsaw you have. Now, not quite your turn yet. Zombie Santa goes first, and he is charging straight at you. He comes running up to you and raises up his fire axe.
And I will take the dodge reaction.
That's a good call. Oh, no. Well, I think the dodge is probably going to prevent it from being a crit, because it is a 26.
Oh, no.
26 is, I think that is actually, so I'm going to spend a hope point because that would be a crit. He has a very low AC.
Oh, that's right. Your AC is actually very low. You've got good armor, but low AC. All right.
Yeah.
So, zombies.
So I will spend a hope to make that not a crit.
All right. So instead of it being a crit, it is just going to be a hit. That's really good. You do not want to be crit by a fire axe. So go ahead and take 7 points of slashing damage. Which, for you is, that's going to deal a handful to you and do another ding to your armor.
Yep.
So Santa had to move, and then he attacked. He still has one action left. He is going to swing.
Oh.
Not even fair. It's just not fair. This isn't what you deserved. You've been good all year.
Merry Christmas.
Do you have another hope?
I have 2 more.
Hold on. Let me check one thing. I don't think you're restricted from spending more than 1 hope in a turn or anything like that. It's just not more than 1 hope on any one roll. So I think you're fine here. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
So that is a 20 again. So
A 20 would not be a crit this time.
Sorry, I rolled a natural 20.
You mean a natural 20?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no,
that 20 this time. My dice are angry and thirsty for blood. So that is going to be a hit, though. I'm going to go ahead and roll damage. 6.
Okay.
The upside is you are big and hardy, so you actually have the most hit points in the group by far.
Yeah.
But you are
Not
taking
anymore.
a beating.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, luckily I had been healed back up to full at one point,
Yeah.
so I'm at half hit points right now, but my half is still like only 1 lower than the like minimum you can roll.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So that hurt a lot. You are bleeding profusely. Not in the game sense, but you've been very badly hurt. Yeah. As it turns out, Santa's axe is pretty deadly. That is the end of Santa's turn, though. Next up is your turn.
okay.
The
Can I
chainsaw
swing at him with the chainsaw.
at the start of your turn.
It is a martial weapon, so I don't get my full bonus, but I get my +1 from Chris. I get a little bit of
So
bonus.
at the
even though-
start of your
okay,
turn,
so-
the chainsaw keeps working.
Is it going?
Keeps working.
Okay. That's lucky. I completely had forgotten about that in the meantime. That is a 15 on the dice. So that is an 18 to hit Santa with the chainsaw.
You have hit Santa with a chainsaw.
Now, question: this is a melee. Even though this is powered, it is a melee weapon. So I do add my. Do I add my strength modifier to it?
Yes.
Okay. That is then 2d8 plus strength. Okay.
As it turns out, a chainsaw is really good. Finding
that is
chainsaw-
15 points of damage.
15 points of damage.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Okay, so that's where
And it's
Santa was
slashing.
at. And okay, so you have tore up Santa's suit. It is now after that hit, Santa's suit is no longer giving him any protection. It's been destroyed. He's still wearing it, but now all you can see is like his rotten undershirt stained black with his dead, decaying blood, and his suit is all ripped to shreds. The chainsaw cuts through him, and his belly splits open, spilling foul, rotten meat everywhere. Santa's a wreck, but he's still standing. Somehow.
Right. He is gonna swing it back the other direction.
Right?
That is an 18 on the die, so -5 but +3. So I'm just taking 2 away. That's going to be a 16. Is that going to be enough to hit him?
Only because of the Inspire. Had it not been because of the Inspire, that would have missed. Because of
Thank you,
tales
Chris.
of an old Jones Soda holiday party.
Yeah,
You were
he
able
thinks as he's swinging at Santa, he's just thinking of Chris's story about the holiday party.
Recalling days of holiday cheer and realizing that this monstrosity stands in anathema of all that represents. Go ahead and roll.
Yeah.
As you sink the chainsaw into Zombie Santa's chest.
You can almost smell the
that
baked bean
is-
soda on the air.
Ooh, one of those is an 8. That is 13 points of damage.
So you drive the chainsaw into Zombie Santa's chest, and he gurgles and shakes, his axe raising up to bring it down on you even while you're in the middle of driving the chainsaw through him, and then he just gurgles and falls backwards. Wrenching the chainsaw from your hands, it falls into the water. Zombie Santa collapses into a rotten...
Wow.
And
They
Martin
saved
goes,
Christmas.
Ho ho no.
Wow. That was a miracle on 34th Street.
So, indeed, the zombie Santa falls into the wretched muck, and you are all able to quickly back away from it. You're pretty sure the chainsaw just got ruined in that, but you could maybe retrieve it and bring it back and see if somebody could fix it, but you'd have to wrench it out of zombie Santa. The most important thing is that you're able to make your way over to... So, if we look back at the map, you're able to leave behind this nightmarish mess, make your way over here to the toy box. And at that location, you're able to make your way inside. Find it a mostly intact toy store. In fact, the one thing that the folks who were holed up here had no use for was a bunch of action figures and robot toys and board games. None of that seems like it was very useful to them in their final days holed up here in the mall. But for you, it is a treasure trove filled with toys and games. Is there anything in particular folks want to grab before you head back?
Martin, still bleeding profusely from his axe wounds, because I don't think it's been long enough for him to be able to get, is going to kind of wander into the action figure aisle, and he sees a bunch of figures with a very prominent, like, multiple W wrestling logo stamped all over the boxes.
Some number of W's.
And he looks through, he actually sees a toy of himself, and he just kind of bemusedly looks at it and puts it back. And he sees, like, a couple over from it, a toy of another wrestler, Rock Hard Rick Aston. And he grabs that one and puts it into his pack because back at the camp, one of the people that he knows, who is a young man, he's about Romero's age, maybe a little bit younger, who was a huge wrestling fan when he was a kid, and he loved Rick Aston. So he knows he's a little old for toys, but he just thinks he'll get a kick out of that, so he grabs that one in particular and puts it in his bag.
Is anyone else looking for anything in particular while they're here? Otherwise, you can just stuff your packs full of toys and make your way back.
They have a CJ Elegance. He was my favorite.
Well, anyone?
I think Romero's gonna stuff a bunch of just various toys in his bag, but he'll make sure to grab one of the things with the batteries that never ever die. One of those singing fish, a Carl the catfish, which, he's got a little Christmas hat on because it's the Christmas model.
Sure.
Pull out the little remove me to turn off demo mode thing. That thing's going to be singing for the next 6 months at least.
You now have a singing bass, which is sure to attract every zombie on your way back. So, you pack up your bags filled with as many things as you can carry, make your way back to the Pick 3, grab your stack of film, load it up in a shopping cart from the home and castle, where you also grab a handful of tools that you find and that machinery toolkit, and begin making your way back to Ballard. The journey back is mostly uneventful. A few crawlers here, walker there. Nothing that experienced survivors like you. And you make your way back to the safety and confines of free Ballard. All the while wondering if your wounds might turn. Any of you get infected? Only time will tell. But that's the risk you take going out inside of the community to find some choice for children. Arriving back, Big Sweet is there to greet you, and of course you have to go through standard protocols. All of you have to be checked. They look at your wounds. Any of you that have been bit, you have to go into quarantine for a while. That's part of the cost. But you know that the kids of Free Ballard will finally have a wonderful holiday after all. And that is where we are going to conclude this adventure. I want to thank you, gentlemen. That was a lot of fun. I hope you had a good time playing Hopefinder.
No, it was a lot of
Yeah,
Thanks a lot
it was
for running this. This
amazing.
was a blast.
that was so fun.
I've never been so terrified of Santa.
He is a scary character, that is for sure. Well, that is a good example of what Hopefinder has to offer. It's got a bit of survival, it's got a bit of horror, it's got a bit of uplifting tales of hope and inspiration. I hope that kind of came through for all of you here today. I hope that folks at home will check out Hopefinder. It is still on Kickstarter right now for the print editions. You can get these nice print editions. Not actually these I printed at home. But I am going to be getting some nice full printed editions that you can get through the Kickstarter that is right now. So all you have to do is go over to Kickstarter.com and search for Hopefinder in your shirt. Before we get going here today, I'll toss it around the horn real quick to allow folks to tell the people watching who you are as a group if you want, or if you individually want to call yourselves out, knock yourself out. But I'll toss it over to you to say who you are before I close things out.
I'm Zach. Still, even at the end of this adventure, I have not lost sense of my identity despite being hit by Santa's rotting meat box projectile. You can still find me getting hit in the face with unpleasant things on Pot Against the Machine. It's kind of my trope. It is, indeed.
It is very fitting. I'm still Sam, and thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Jason for running this. This was awesome. And if you want to check us out on Pot Against the Machine, I promise there is a lot more chainsaw action, which most Pathfinder shows can't promise, but we can.
Never go wrong with the chainsaw. That's absolutely sure.
I am Jero. Also Pot Against the Machine. Don't really do too much on social media anymore, but I am on Twitter and a few other things. I'm the main cast member who does stuff if you see anything on our Twitch, which is Pod versus Machine, to do that because I'm pretty much the only one who plays video games. And yeah, that's about it. Check us out.
Oddly, I'm no longer Jeff. No, just kidding. Yeah, so still Jeff. I, for one, will be looking at that Kickstarter because I think just the different shops alone in the mall is worth pushing for that stretch goal. What's in the spice zone? I want to know. But yeah, this was awesome.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, everybody. I am Jason Bulmahn. I'm the director of game design at Paizo and the publisher at Minotaur Games, creator of Hopefinder, and I also had a little something to do with it called Pathfinder. I want to thank everybody for watching. You can find me on all the various social media platforms at /Jason Bulmahn. That's JASON BULMAHN. Everybody misplaces that H. Won't find me if you don't put the H in the right spot. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Good luck out there, survivors. It's a dangerous world. I hope you find some hope. Thank you for watching. See you next time.